had a video all ready to go in the pipeline about the Monday Night Football game the other night between the Texans and Buccaneers, which was a close back and forth, really fun game. But I think we learned more about the story of the NFL season so far and the importance of offensive line play and the lack of talent coming out of college and easy development that's making it tough for these teams to just operate their offenses. With the scripted offense, both of these teams moved the ball well. It was 14-10 after 4 possessions, both teams scoring on both their possessions. And then the game went cold until the very end. And a lot of that was because of front four pressure, even without blitzes, that teams were getting on them because of offensive line play. In the case of Tampa, it was after the injury to Luke Goedeke. Houston has had a long time trying to figure out how to make their offensive line develop, and you can't see the name at the top, but obviously Ariante Ursary was an early draft pick for them this year. They've had early draft picks every year going back 4 years and still haven't been able to figure out this offensive line unit. So I want to highlight 3 things that I think you need to do well in order to develop an O-line, and they're not easy. Number 1, and this fits in with the Buccaneers, is continuity. You need guys that are going to play with each other and get used to playing with each other. It's a communication-based unit. The center makes calls, the guards repeat those calls, the tackles hear them, and they have to get checks from the offensive line to the quarterback and from the quarterback to the offensive line. With the Buccaneers' injuries to both their tackles, they took their center, Graham Barton, moved him to left tackle, which he's been very good at, but then had to replace the new center, so a new protection calls guy. And then also now with the new right tackle, you've completely mix-matched what you have on that offensive line. The continuity is different. You guys haven't played together, and the communication is not as good. With the Texans, and the same thing with the Miami Dolphins, they've invested early draft picks often at the offensive line position and still haven't figured out how to get 5 solid players up front. And a lot of that is because it can't just be early draft picks. It has to be a bunch of them plus free agency investment. You have 5 players you need to fill in. They all need to be solid. And 1 draft pick a year, just quite frankly, it isn't enough. And then not to personalize everything to the Commanders, but development's very important. A lot of these guys are like quarterbacks. They don't play well right off the bat. Josh Connerly has given Washington a ton of trouble because they've drafted him in the first round. He's played right tackle. I think he's got a lot of skills that are going to help him in the future. But going up against the Giants and then Micah Parsons this past week was not something he was ready for. And I don't know if he's going to be ready this week against Max Crosby, although the Raiders' defensive line depth is not quite what the Packers have. And finding this perfect storm of investing a ton, giving them time to develop, and then them having continuity with new players is just not something that's easy to do. The Eagles have managed to not have these guys play different positions. Lane Johnson's always been a right tackle. Jordan Mailata's always been a left tackle. Cam Jurgens has always been the center. Landon Dickerson's played a little bit of center, but he's also played left guard. In my opinion, that's like the one thing that can be helpful because you learn the offense more playing center. You have to get out in front of it in terms of development and adding talent. The Eagles have, other teams are not. And it's going to be the story of the season. It's just the inability to protect against these more and more athletic pass rushers.